They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
What up? Welcome back once again to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, let's go ahead and add one more figure to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now today we will continue the Titans wave. So far we have done Donna Troy and Raven. This time we will do Nightwing. Now this is a certain version of Nightwing, so we will have a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of modifications I know people want to see, and then we'll figure out just exactly how good this Nightwing figure is. Now he does look pretty athletic in the packaging, but let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. But first, he does come with your standard black DC Multiverse stand. Now, of course, these are not really needed, but sometimes they do come in useful. He also comes with his Catafalque card on the front. This is the same image that they used for the original Better Than Batman Nightwing from Wave 1. So, not too cool, but you know, it is what it is. Especially because they do show him with his Screama sticks, which he does not come with. But on the back, you do have some information. All in all, we'll add it to the collection. Now, he does not come with any accessories at all, but he does come with the big torso for the Savage Beast Boy. Now, we are going to get one step closer to building this guy. We only have Speedy to go, but we'll hold on to this until we actually put them together. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. First impressions right off the bat, this is the same body buck from John Kent. Now they have used them, I'd say about 5 times now, maybe more. But for some reason, I think by far this is my favorite use of this body buck. Just that the extra sculpted details that he has that were like negatives on the first figures, for some reason on this one they are not so noticeable. I guess it's because of the mostly black color scheme, but he looks really sleek. He is smaller, you know, barely, but it does look more like a team version of Nightwing. So I would have to say maybe this is like before he actually took like complete control of Bloodhaven, and when he was barely, you know, starting to move away from Batman, he did his stint in the Teen Titans. Now I did look up tons of images of this guy just to get some reference, and surprisingly when they show him with more like this version of Nightwing, sometimes they do show him without like the storage for the sticks. But he still has the sticks, so that is kind of contradictory. But all in all, in my collection, I have tons of versions of Nightwing. So this is just one more version that I have. And it all depends on what image you're trying to portray or what look you're looking for, that you could, you know, move in your DC Classics, your DC Direct, your Mattel Multiverse Nightwing figures, and now your McFarlane figures. Actually, McFarlane has done various versions of Nightwing already, so this is just one more to add to the collection. But I do like the color tone of the blue that they went with. And like I said, the different body buck is actually appreciated here because he's a little bit more slender and just youthful, I would say. And you could see it right away in this figure. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the head sculpt. Kind of quirky head sculpt. He does have like a weird nonchalant expression, or like he doesn't give any F's. I do like his hair, of course. I always have hair hanging over my face, and so I know what it's like when your bangs are in the way. I actually like that kind of style of hair. Even though they do they're right on the line of being like a little bit too much. You might want to heat it up and like move some out of the way or just reposition them just to get them a little bit cleaner look. But it is fine. It is something different than the original head or the Gotham Knights head or even the family 5-pack head. So all in all, it looks pretty nice. I do like the way they did the domino mask on this one. And of course you have the eyes, which is like one really open and one kind of squinty, which gives them a little bit more character. Let's take a look at the articulation. He can look down very well. Looking up is also pretty easy, and this is without any modding, and he looks up really high, so that's awesome. You have right to left, and of course you can tilt his head for some attitude, which it actually works with the smirk expression that they gave him on this one, so pretty cool. Now going down, I love this Nightwing emblem. It just looks really crisp. And then moving down to the trunks and the ab muscles and all that, which is all in black. So this figure was kind of made for this body book. Just really works here on this one. Let's take a look at the waist articulation. You do have side to side, full tilt-a-whirl at the waist, nice and snug. You do have a lower waist swivel, upper chest swivel. Can twist them, get him in some cool jumping poses. He doesn't have a lot of crunch, but we do know that from the previous figures. They don't really have a good crunch with this book, but you can always mod it if you would like to. But he does lean back per normal for the McFarlane figures. Let's take a look at the shoulder. He does have that socket and bushing shoulder joint, which gives you a lot of good movement and range. You got up and down, front to back, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, look pretty clean. Coming down from the shoulder. Now there is some separation from the symbol to the shoulder with the color tone, but I think it kind of works with this one because this costume has a lot more black in it, so it kind of works. And then you move down that stripe painting, going down through the elbow, down into the wrist, which is sculpted, and then into the fist. Now that's another thing that was not too cool, was that they give him 2 fists and they didn't give him any open hands, but also they didn't give him any sticks, so it kind of all works itself out. You do have the wrist articulation, and then on the other side you have the same thing. Can get him in a pretty cool T-pose. You can even get a little bit more out of it. And you can lift his arms above his head pretty nicely. Let's go ahead and go down and take a look at the thigh swivel. Wow, surprisingly he does have some good range in the thigh swivel. I have not warmed this one up, but if you do warm them up and massage them around, they kind of loosen up even more. But that allows you to move his foot from side to side without a thigh cut, so you still get that human range of movement. You can kick up really high and kick back really high. Now this is allowed by the rubber in the trunk, so don't be scared to bend the trunks, because when you put them back, of course they go back to their original form. You can cock out his knee, and he does have that sweet hip swivel. Double jointed knees, straighten them out, up and down at the ankle, right to left, rocker, and then of course toe articulation. Now before we move on, let's just take a complete look at the lower body. As I said before, it is kind of interesting the way this body book works with the all black scheme. It just hides any of the other sculpted parts that are actually not needed on here. The movement in the feet is really smooth. You do have that sculpted ankle joint, which looks pretty clean. I like this little blue trim that they put around the shoe. It just gives it a little bit more pop and gives it some accent to come off of all the blue on the upper body. Taking a look at them from the bottom, no tread and no identifying marks. Moving up the back, pretty smooth, non-eventful legs. They don't have a lot of piping lines or sculpting lines or anything like that. Into the trunks and then the back. Now he does have that symbol that kind of goes across the back. And then interestingly enough, he does have the cutout in the back where that socket moves into and gives you more range for like jumping through the air poses and stuff like that. So love that little added articulation. And from the back, he looks pretty cool. He got that cool hair sculpt. Awesome, awesome. Now, as I said before, this new Nightwing figure doesn't really bother me. Now, I do have like some cool different versions of Nightwing. This for me will be like a more youthful version when he's actually in the Titans. But let's get into some of the things that people were actually complaining about. Now, first off, no sticks. Now, I did have a lot of sticks to choose from because I have been doing some customs. I did use one of those infected Jokerized Nightwings and cut them up. I did kind of the beginnings of a Vigilante custom figure for my Peacemaker shelf. Not done with it, but I did use the body for that figure. So I do have 2 of those sticks left over. And then I do actually have some Mattel sticks that were left over from a custom that I did a long time ago. And then I did do a custom where I did a Terry McGinnis Unmasked Batman Beyond. So I did have an extra Gotham Knights Nightwing that I could take the sticks from him as well. But these are kind of large for this figure. And finally, in the end, I did actually make these custom Eskrima sticks from actually 2 different batons that I had. One was silver and one was black with blue on it. And I actually cut them in half, spliced them together to make 2 of the, more similarly shaped batons. And then I just painted it to make them both accent each other. And since these are a lot like slimmer and lighter, I think I'm actually going to go with these. And this will help me to use the batons that were probably going to be just fodder or trash for a long time. And now they will be used with this figure. Now, of course, how are you going to hold this, hold these sticks? Well, I did use the hands from that infected Nightwing. And I just painted the blue, accents that he has on his hands. And this allowed me to pop off these hands. Now the peg is slightly smaller, so I did have to put a little bit of tape around it. Just for now, I mean, if I ever really want to use these, I could figure out something else. But they pretty much popped in. And then it was cool the way that the line design actually went the same way. And then I could put these sticks in his hand. And now he does have his sticks that come with him. So it actually came out pretty cool. Like I said, I could always put some Play-Doh or something in there just to make them stick. I mean, it was really close. They almost wanted to be perfect. But in the end, I could get them in there if I want to. So these are pretty much the sticks that I'm going to use for this figure. Now, of course, then you have the storage. Now, I couldn't 100% like go all in on the storage, but I did have this piece from that infected Nightwing as well, which is the storage for his sticks. Now, I did slice this down a little bit more to get it thinner, and then I did paint it all black. Now, if I was going to use this on the Nightwing, I guess it would look something like this, where I would glue it right below like the blue accent mark there, and then of course the sticks would slide right in there and be held. So this is what it would look like if I were to go 100% in. I haven't decided to do it yet, but I mean, it looks pretty good, so I might go ahead and just do that. If I ever wanted to have an original Nightwing without any changes, or if I wanted to display one with the fists and nothing and no accessories, and then I could display one with the actual hands and the sticks in his hands, with also his storage on the back. So it just depends what I feel like, but I mean, that's just to give you guys some ideas of how you could mod yours. Now, there's really nothing to compare this guy to except for the original Better Than Batman Nightwing. Now, nobody could change my mind. This actually is my favorite Nightwing. I just really think he hits all the points. And although this is, a pretty nice looking one for the certain version of him that you want for the Titans, this one is by far superior. I mean, he just has everything you need. The sticks, the storage, the awesome head sculpt. Even the articulation is still pretty good, although this one did have some nice range, and you could see the difference between the newer articulation compared to the older. But this is still my preferred Nightwing. Now, he is taller and a little bit wider than this younger version of Dick Grayson. But all in all, I'm really happy with this one. That's one more down for the Titans wave. We will move on to Arsenal, and then I could finally build that big Beast Boy. But anyways, you guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.
They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.